moth-eaten clothes, Ethan felt something cold and hard. Brushing away the cobwebs, he pulled out an ornate silver locket. It was heavier than it looked, etched with strange symbols that seemed to writhe under his touch. Intrigued, Ethan opened the locket. Inside, he found a swirling vortex of smoke and shadows. Ethan quickly shut the locket, but it was too late. The air grew frigid, and the shadows in the attic seemed to deepen, twisting and contorting. A low whisper echoed through the room, sending shivers down his spine. "Help me!" it rasped, the voice seeming to come from inside his own head. An unsettling feeling washed over Ethan, a prickling fear that made the hairs on his arms stand on end. He shoved the locket back into the trunk, his heart pounding. Ethan fled the attic, his mind racing. He tried to shake off the unsettling feeling, telling himself it was just his imagination. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had unleashed something sinister. The whispers started, subtly. Ethan would hear his name called out in a hushed voice, barely audible above the hum of the refrigerator or the creak of the old house settling. But as the days passed, the whispers grew louder, more persistent. He saw fleeting shadows darting at the edge of his vision, gone as quickly as they appeared. His reflection in the mirror would sometimes contort, his face replaced by a hollow skeletal visage. Fear, cold and clammy, became Ethan's constant companion. He avoided the attic, terrified of what he might find. He tried to tell his grandmother about the strange happenings, but the words caught in his throat. How could he explain the whispers, the shadows that seemed to dance just out of reach? So Ethan suffered in silence, the fear gnawing at him from the inside out. Sleep offered no escape. Nightmares plagued him, filled with shadowy figures and echoing whispers. He would wake in a cold sweat, his heart racing, the whispers still ringing in his ears. Ethan knew he couldn't ignore it any longer. He had to do something about the locket. Ethan returned to the attic, his steps hesitant, his hand trembling as he reached for the trunk. The locket lay where he had left it, but now it pulsed with an eerie internal light. He picked it up, the metal ice cold against his palm. The whispers intensified, swirling around him like a malevolent wind. "Free me," they hissed. "Let me out!" Ethan tried to throw the locket back into the trunk, but an unseen force held him back. He struggled against it, but the grip was too strong. The locket pulsed brighter, its cold light spreading until it enveloped the room. Ethan felt a sharp pain in his chest, like icy claws gripping his heart. He realized with a sickening certainty that the entity was feeding on his fear, growing stronger with every passing moment. He had to get rid of the locket, but how? He couldn't destroy it. He couldn't escape it. Desperation clawed at him, fueling the entity's power. Ethan was trapped, his fate intertwined with the malevolent force he had unleashed. The attic swirled, the shadows coalescing into a single terrifying figure. It towered over Ethan, its form shifting and flickering like a flame. Its eyes, two burning embers in the darkness, bored into him, reflecting his terror back at him tenfold. This was the source of the whispers, the embodiment of the fear that had haunted him. The Hollow One, as Ethan's terrified mind dubbed it, reached for him with a clawed hand, its touch promising unimaginable cold and despair. "You cannot escape me," the Hollow One rasped, its voice a chorus of whispers that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Your fear sustains me, your terror empowers me." Ethan closed his eyes, bracing for the inevitable, but the touch never came. He opened his eyes to see the Hollow One wavering, its form flickering erratically. The locket in his hand pulsed erratically, its light dimming. A wave of dizziness washed over Ethan, and the attic around him dissolved into a dizzying blur. The whispers faded, replaced by a concerned voice calling his name. He found himself lying on the attic floor, the silver locket nowhere to be found. His grandmother was shaking him gently, her face etched with worry. Had it all been a dream? "Are you all right, Ethan?" she asked. "Help dropping him to his feet. Ethan could only nod, still shaken to his core. He never saw the locket again, but sometimes in the dead of night he could swear he heard a faint
Pag di naman
whisper,
nakubos ka,
a chilling
masarap prito
reminder
yun
of
sa
the
umaga.
hollow one lurking just beyond the veil of reality.